we wanted to jump on and talk to you about one of our main pillars at SheWorth, which is brave moments. Brave moments has been born out of a lot of observation in my practice, a lot of observation that we've had in the SheWorth movement and women who've really resonated with our message. And we think it's of the utmost importance for us to understand this pillar. I'm going to give you a little bit of an overview, and then we're going to sort of chat about some examples and how we can implement those into our daily lives. So a brave moment is really those moments in our lives where we feel a little bit of uncertainty, we feel a little bit of fear, we have a little bit of doubt, and we're just not sure whether or not we should take the plunge. It can be a big situation, such as whether or not we should take a job, if we should stay in a particular relationship, or they can be small, like asking for a really specific order at a coffee shop, or feeling high maintenance, but really asking for what we know we want or deserve. So a brave moment is those moments in our life where we want to stand up for ourselves and make a decision that's going to maybe feel temporarily uncomfortable, but in the long term make us feel proud of ourselves for having done it.
Something that we compare them to is aha moments or light bulb moments, which are singular moments in time that shine a light on something, whereas a brave moment requires action. It's more of an active thought. So it's, in the simplest terms, it's the ability to stand up for ourselves, or also make really transformational, positive, scary change that when you look forward into your future, you'll be in a better place for doing it, except for in the moment, you know it's so daunting. And it's really anything, as Kim describes, from the small things to the big things. And in my personal experience, it was a couple of really big, scary, brave moments that were part of the foundation and the building out of SheWorth. And for my personal story, it was finding myself in a horrible relationship with a man who was an abusive narcissist. And it was brief in that it was only 2 years, except for I knew that my life, I was not happy. I was being disrespected daily, and I was just on this downward spiral to depression and anxiety. And every day I knew I had to do something about it. And then when I finally mustered up all of the courage and said, this is enough, today is the day, and my son and I, we found the strength to find another apartment and just, walk out that day. And that was the bravest moment of my life. And it was transformational because it allowed me to move away from that and heal and move forward.
Absolutely. And it was really one of the catalysts for our movement, was understanding the anatomy of that brave moment for you and really trying to look at why was that so hard, or why is it so hard for us? And we look at the different facets of our personality and how agreeableness, which is a personality trait that we talk a lot about here at SheWorth, and the quiz is on our website, the Ocean Quiz, which is the personality assessment. But many of us who score higher in agreeableness have a very hard time standing up for ourselves, having a brave moment. We often put others' needs in front of our own, and we doubt our own need, and our own beliefs rather. And so it's just where we become paralyzed by fear and uncertainty. And from a psychological perspective, it's important, as Lara was describing, to look at these on a spectrum from small to big. It was big. It was her biggest, brave moment of her life, leaving that marriage. But even the small things sort of lay the foundation for us to start to have the bigger moments. And it requires action, right? It's not just cognitive. It's not just intellectual understanding that, yes, in theory, I should stand up for myself and do what I believe is right for me, even if it feels uncomfortable temporarily. It requires true action. And so every opportunity that we get in our daily life, we should try to take. From the small things to the big things, so we build that muscle memory so that they become easier. And even if you look at it from a psychological perspective, it's sort of like when we're anxious or we're uncertain about something, we have to look at the thing we're afraid of and do something called graduated exposure. Slowly and systematically work ourselves toward the feared thing. Have small, brave moments. Celebrate them, even if they seem small, so that when a bigger one is on our doorstep, we're more inclined to be able to take it.
I love that. I think you will be able to identify with, over the course of your life, you've all had them. We've all had them, whether we called them that at the time or not. Mm-hmm. So look backwards. Take an inventory of these moments and document them for yourself, because when you look back and you easily find 10 or 12 brave moments where you stood up for yourself, you made a change, you did something scary, and the outcome was positive, that gives you the courage to keep doing these. And the key is to harness them when you're having one. Recognize that there's an opportunity now and then do something about it.
Oh, I love that. I love that idea. We call that in anxiety management circling back to the good, because we're sort of wired with the negativity bias to always remember the things that we didn't do well, but to remember the good and intentionally encode that, like put them on paper, and it's like, whoa, actually I have done more than I thought I have in my life. So I love that idea. And just, more examples. I mean, Lara's is such a brilliant one and a really transformational one for her life and for SheWorth as a movement and helping all of us harness our brave moments. But we have to think about, what is a small example? We've maybe not trusted ourselves with making a purchase, but we've slowly saved up, and then we feel worthy enough to be able to do it, and we take that brave moment. It's like, yeah, no, I can do this. I don't have to have this doubt anymore. What are some other examples that we've seen? I mean, I have so many in my practice, or even just women that will come to me after a session, and then a week later we follow up, and they'll say, you know what? I submitted that draft, that manuscript that I was so afraid to perhaps get rejected from. It's like, yes, let's celebrate that as a brave moment. Even if it does get rejected, you're going to feel proud of yourself that you've done it either way. So little things like that. There's so many opportunities in our lives.
Think of an opportunity where you can say no to somebody that you love and you don't want to disappoint, but it's either won't be good for your family or for your relationship or for their growth, if it's a child or a friend or whatever. But practice saying no.
That's a good
being
one.
Very brave.
Yeah. It's like it's action, and inaction is also an action, right? So that's great. So we hope that you'll really start to add this term brave moments into your vernacular so that you can instantly recognize them when they present themselves to you, and hopefully we can be your cheerleader, and you can share them with us here at SheWorth.